So here we are today to do some RNG abuse in Pokemon Sword and Shield without custom firmware. We'll be RNG abusing the Gengar in the wild area, the static spawn there. And the first step for that is to find our seed. So we want to go into the game, pop up the menu as soon as we can, and go straight to the summary of our Pokemon. Now, when you click one of the joysticks in, you get a cool little animation of the Pokemon either using a physical or a special attack. As you can see on Onion here, the one where it shoots the seeds out of its head, that's the special attack, and the one where it kind of just floats around a little bit is the physical attack. So I've got Project XE open on the left side of my screen here. And what we have to do is we have to type in 128 of these animations in a row. Now, this is fairly easy to get wrong, but if we get it right, it will get us our seed, so it's important to pay attention. It took me around 9 minutes. The important thing is that you only click the stick in once, and you wait for the animation to completely finish before you do it again. If you accidentally do it a little bit too early, then it'll be incorrect and you'll have to start the whole thing all over again. You'll see a few times throughout this that I accidentally click to the side instead and change the summary screen. That doesn't matter too much. It also doesn't matter if we accidentally press A or B, as long as we can get 128 of these in a row. If you want to fast forward this, skip to about the 9-minute mark, because that's where I finish. But until then, I'll just take a moment to talk about what's going on here. So, I've got this set up. So we're doing the Gengar in the wild area. You have to make sure that the weather is not rainy. And the spot that I've saved in is right on the very edge of where Gengar spawns. So as soon as I take a step forward, we're going to spawn in a Gengar. Hopefully with the stats that we want. The reason I chose Gengar is because it's one of the easiest ones to do. There's very little noise, so that means the frames don't advance particularly erratically. We have a good level of control over what's going on. So I thought for something like this, where I'm just kind of demonstrating the proof of concept, something where we don't have much nonsense to deal with would be a good idea. So how this works is we do all this to get our seed, and then we're going to punch it in to a program that is going to tell us exactly what we can possibly get until we turn the game on and off again. So into this one, I'm probably going to be, because it's just a basic example, I'm going to be looking for not particularly great targets. I'll just go for whatever shiny comes up. It doesn't have to have a mark. But you can do this for marked shinies or specific marks or whatever you like. Just be prepared to do it multiple times because some of the seeds are garbage. And sometimes you won't have what you want. So once we have our seed and we've identified our target, we're going to have to advance some frames. Everything that I'm going to say now only refers to quiet areas where we don't have much RNG noise. In these quiet areas, just idling your trainer on the overworld advances about 1 frame every 2 seconds-ish, give or take. Which is good info, but not particularly useful if we want to go quite far, because we can also just advance 1 frame by doing what we're doing on the summary screen right now, just clicking it in and getting this animation to happen. So we're gonna need some ways to advance more than 1 frame at once, and there are a couple of others. We can close the X menu. So frames are paused when we're on the X menu. We don't advance any frames, which is also really handy. But closing that menu advances by an amount that's not completely predictable. In this quiet area where I am now, it's anywhere between about 4 and about 7, which we're going to have to take into account later. Also, you can get on or off your bike, which does around, I think it was 8 to 12 in my testing for this. Obviously, if you're in a noisy area, they will do considerably more. There's also, you can do a date skip with a raid den that will advance about 5,500, but they're difficult to use because you have to get yourself back in the exact position where if you take just a step forward, you'll spawn your target. So it's difficult to use raid dens. Also, if you move your character, whenever your character stops moving, you will advance by 1 frame. Fortunately, it's not when you start, because otherwise we'd also have to take that into account. But just be mindful that you're not moving your character around too much while you're just sitting there on the overworld. Alrighty, so we're nearly done with these animations now. My Joy-Cons are getting an extreme workout. I hope this button doesn't wear out ever. I'll put links for Project XE and the program we're about to use very shortly in the description, by the way, so that they're easily findable. But yeah, basically the process is find your seed, identify a target, perform frame advances towards that target, and then just walk forwards at the right time to spawn your target. The difficulty comes with not only finding your seed, but also tracking your advances. Because they don't advance, a particular action doesn't advance by a consistent number of frames every time, we're going to have to figure out a way to work out how many advances we've done. But as you can see now, I'm just doing my last input to get the seed. And there we go. So we have this huge seed that says 128 initial advances, and then it spits it out into 2 halves, S0 and S1. We're going to copy those into the state 0 and the state 1 box. Oh, that took, what, 9 minutes, yeah. We're going to copy those into these boxes, fill out our settings, and identify a target. So we have a very early shiny frame. That's very nice. We're going to go for frame 326 or 327. Now, bearing in mind we are already on frame 128. So you can see here where it says Retail Advances Tracker. That's what we're going to use to track our advances. But right now, I'm just going to advance the next frames just to confirm that we're on our actual seed, because I think I might have made a couple of mistakes when we were inputting it into the Python script. So if I scroll down to 128, there we go. I'm just going to do a couple more things on the summary just to check that the pattern matches up. So we get 0, 1, 0. 1, 1. Right. I'm satisfied with that. It matches up pretty well. So I'm confident that we're on the seed that the program said. So now we need to advance to frame 326. Oh yeah, you can go into your boxes and grab your synchronizer without using up any frames. That doesn't use any advancements at all. So I'm just going to close the menu, go back into the overworld, and here you can't see it particularly well. I'm just going to get on and off my bike a bunch of times. There we go. I don't want to advance too far, so we're going to be a little bit cautious. So now we're going to click Generate Pattern, and we need to know what frame we're actually on. So what we're going to do now is just some more of these animations. And we're going to input them into this little box over here. This will tell us what frame we are on. So 637 results. We need to put in some more to help narrow it down. And if we decrease the max advances, because we know we haven't gone over frame 500, or we hope we haven't gone over frame 500, then it will help narrow those results down as well. I think I made a mistake, so I'm going to start again. That's the good thing about this bit. It doesn't matter if you make a mistake here, unlike in the first 128. You can just start again with this bit, because you're just trying to find your current frame anyway, which is constantly updating whenever you do it. So you can do this at any point. 6 results. 4 results. There we go, 1 result. So we're on frame 228. Out of 326. So we have 98 frames left to go. So we're going to do a couple more on this bike. But not too many, because we don't want to go past it. And then just go back to our summary. So what I'm actually going to do here is I'm going to copy the kind of current state from frame 228 into the state 0 and state 1 and regenerate those frames just to make sure we're on the right path still. So there you go. See our target is on frame 98. So now that kind of becomes our frame 0, if you will. So we can track where we're up to again by changing the initial advances and the retail advances track it to 1 and regenerating the pattern there. And then inputting the sequence. Narrow these results down as much as we can. There we go. We've done 65 out of 98. So we're getting pretty close now. I'm just going to generate kind of all of the frames that we could hit, because this will give us kind of a path that we can follow. I'm also going to update our seeds. So there we go. You can see our target now is on frame 33 and 34. And if we have a look at the animation column, this gives us more or less the exact path that we can follow. I'm going to just do the rest of the advances here in the menu, because I don't want to have to deal with finding my frame again and potentially risking overshooting with the bike. So all we need to do is just do animations, and we can follow down the animation column. And I've actually lost where we're up to. I think it's around here somewhere. It's a 0. That's a 1. Okay, so I think we're on frame 13 now. Never mind, that's a 0. That's a 1. If we get another 1. Good. Alright, now we're in frame 14. So as you can see, what we're getting is matching up with what's in this animation column. This is a nice way to just track those last few frames once you've really closed your target. Just going to do a couple at a time now. Takes us to 24. And remember, our target is on 34 and 33 and 34. So we do need to work backwards from these, because closing the menu does advance between about 4 and about 7 frames. We will need a little bit of luck. So we're gonna close the menu and we're on frame 28 or 29, because I've been consistently getting about 6 most frequently when I close the menu. So we're just going to count back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and end up on frame 28 or 29. Alright. We've made it. So now all we do is run forward, spawn our Pokemon, and would you look at that? It's shiny. Take a screenshot, just for posterity. Cool, so now all we gotta do is catch this thing, and just confirm that it is actually our target. Master Ball makes for a nice easy catch. Now we can go and check the summary. So, no ribbon. And you can see it's synchronized to Timid. But there you go. Our IVs. We've got the no good in special attack, which lines up. And the other ones line up as well, especially that fantastic in speed. So there you go. That's all there is to it.